I think sometimes with these videos and with me checking in on myself, sometimes there's a lot to say and a lot to talk about, and sometimes it's just a week of continuation, being in the process, not necessarily having any new developments. Something that I realized in my last video, it was my 17th video since I started this Road 35 to Infinity, meaning that this video right now is number 18. 4 months of weekly videos, and the support is very much appreciated. Whenever there's interaction with what I'm sharing, I don't take that for granted, and also especially thanks to people that have come up to me, shared their thoughts, their questions on what I'm doing. Yeah, their appreciation. That is also something that I'm not expecting, but is highly appreciated and highly welcomed. So just thank you very much. I wanted to put side by side my practice from my first week of this Road 35 to Infinity and my last week. The first thing that I'm checking is my spinal waves. What I noticed immediately that I can see a difference with my spinal waves at a certain point. I think maybe 2-3 months in to my practice, I really started using surfaces for my spinal waves, because I noticed how it constantly makes me become extra aware of how I'm using my body, and especially when I look at my sideways waves, I notice that my hip area is more involved now than it was before, and I think it really has to do with me using a surface that I wave against. I noticed that is a change, that I start this practice with receiving feedback as a reminder of, okay, this is how it should feel like. And depending on how long I work on my spinal waves, I will start off by waving against the surface, and then I'll step away and I'll wave without. Yeah, and I always have the wall to kind of like be reminded, and that this is practice. Make sure that I am asking of my body to do something in a specific way, so that when I go into a place of performance, let's say a battle, I'm not gonna think of it so much. It is hopefully where the muscle memory kicks in. So the next part I decided to look at was my floor. So in the beginning, I would mostly, as you can see, be walking on all fours, making use of the spinal waves in a hallway. And in the hallway, I didn't really have music with me. So then it would be purely just movement and just traveling with it. It would be more, yeah, movement directed. Floor part is something that I feel I could look for some challenge, because now it's to the point where some days with working on the floor, it really depends. Some days it feels easy, and some days it feels like a struggle. But lately I've been noticing that I am entering a place of comfort, and I want to find ways of making this challenging. And this is where like I can just look at my videos, and I will start to write the things that I do down, and to see how I can challenge. What am I missing? So the next part is my mid-level. And the first thing that I see is the range of my mid-level. To the left, I can see that I am working mid-level, but I can see how somewhere I've become more aware of that I can go deeper. And my first week, I'm just really touching the surface. But I do see that it's hard. I do see that I'm challenged by this. It also depends on the angle I'm filming from. What would be good to have in mind as I move on is to find angles where you really can see how I'm working. But I do notice that I've with time I've come down a bit. I think that's something that started to change by observing my videos, that I noticed, ooh, I thought I was in mid-level, but when I look at it, I see I can go a bit lower. What I mentioned during my spinal waves is the use of environment, and something that I started doing was I would grab a chair and I would have it next to me just to have a visual reference of how low I was. Because without anything, I maybe automatically would come up a bit because I was tired. But if I have a chair next to me, it's a constant, okay, oh, now I'm coming up. So I can constantly check myself. Oh, am I cheating now? Am I coming up because I'm getting tired? So then I would come a bit lower. And I also started using the weights I had at home. I want to challenge myself by using a weight vest. Thank you, Mavinga, for inspiring me. And also thanks to anime, because this is such a Dragon Ball moment. The next part is circular motions. And this is something that came, like a month after I started with my Road 35 to Infinity. I added the circular motions. The way that it developed from when I started is that now I try to go from standing to just focusing on the different body parts to use footwork foundation. And as I'm shifting my weight, I notice that sometimes I can't keep up with the foundation, and I really have to do it slow. And I take my time because it's really about combining here. And this is a practice of, I just want to combine doing these this Leviathan flow practice with the house dance as a practice, and then to see what happens when I then dance house, and where I also would finish off that practice with allowing my entire body to go through these circular motions at the same time. So I don't isolate, but I just involve the entire body. And then here's a glimpse on how I'm working on. I'm trying to do the shuffle while working on a circular motions in my body. Here I'm just working with the movement of the shuffle, and not necessarily in the standard tempo or rhythm of it, to see how that affects my body. And I'm just really looking for the physical experience to just challenge what I'm capable of doing. And what I haven't shown now at all, but that is also still part of my practice, is yoga daily. And then now I've added the footwork practice, which, if you've seen my previous videos, you know that I picked 5 foundations that I'm gonna commit to for the coming months, and I'm just sticking to these 5 within my practice. And these 5 are the pas de bourrée, shuffle, swirl, around the world, and loose legs. So in my last part here, I'm working on the around the world, and I'm just really taking my time to practice. And I'm still also in the footwork practice. I'm taking my time to also figure out how I want to practice it, because Because what's become clear at least is that my footwork practice, my daily footwork practice, they're set on one footwork a day, so 5 days a week, and they are always gonna come in somewhere in my Leviathan flow practice. So that's separate. And then I also try to then take time to just practice the footwork foundation in the context of house by trying different music genres to see what that does, and also to drill the basic and to just become comfortable and very skilled in within these 5 different foundations. Just to show, and also for myself, your practice is alive. It's constantly molding, adapting, and by reviewing what you have done also, and comparing, it also gives you a space and a moment to see, okay, it's developed so far to this, and where do I want to take it further on? Because you want to keep pushing. You are hopefully within your practice finding ways to increase the challenge that you're putting yourself through in order to also increase your skills that you're practicing. What I notice sometimes within my practice is that I can feel that I can land in a place of comfort, because comfortable is nice. It's nice to go into your practice and do your things and feel that it's less hard to do it, because then you feel like, okay, I've progressed, I've become better. But now to be aware of that, so that you look for how you can challenge yourself, even if it's like a little bit, but to challenge so that you don't stay in this comfort, and then suddenly you start to feel that you're not developing, and maybe this leads into becoming demotivated, and now you don't feel as excited to practice anymore. So yeah, that's an update on how things are going. Just wanted to take a moment and explain this countdown that is appearing in my videos. This is a countdown to what Road 35 to Infinity started with, and that I'm working towards. Top 24 Summer Dance 2023 is the starting point for something. It put me on a path that I did not know what to expect from, apart from I am working towards this, but it's been giving me so much gifts, and I automatically started to plant seeds that I didn't know that I was planting. Still, here is the countdown for what would be the end of my Road 35, and then we see what the towards infinity will look like. Feel free to just ask questions, leave a comment, any thoughts, anything you would want me to talk about regarding practice in general, or regarding my practice that you're curious about. Do you want to let me know how you're doing with your own practice on your road? Let me know in the comments. And other than that, enjoy your practice, and I'll see you in a next video. That's it for this one. Now to do something else. Here is a little glimpse from a class I was teaching, where I'm demonstrating how I use my Leviathan flow practice within house dance. How does my body work? What can I do with it? And then when we can fuse those, we are here to just play with these things, and it's the same step, yeah, but I'm just playing how I can use my body. And then if I stop with the feet, I can still continue with my body. And then if you want to add the feet, it's an extension of what I want to do. Or I can just focus on the legs. But then this is a choice. Add your body. Yes, Bex?
Hey.
And yes, playing with the body. And yes, this fuse. And then we're also playing with, just want you to get familiar with being up here, being here. Two legs come down here. So just playing. And also here I can play with these things. And also here.
Wow.
And yes, on and on.